Boom.
I see we've abandoned the warm-up completely.
Yeah, no more war. Not on a Friday. Welcome to First World Third Rails. Your host, Marlon, aka Mayhem, aka still Mr. B rating on Spoutable, with his partner in crime right by his side in the shotgun seat, JD, aka JD.
Greetings.
Happy Friday. Hold on, brother. Happy Friday.
TGIF.
I got stars all over the place here. Stars on the cup, stars on my shirt. Coming to you from Lumen Field, Seattle.
I have chickens, and there's little chickens on the inside too.
Coming to you today from Lumen Field, home of the Seahawks. Why am I coming to you? Why am I coming to you from the house of the 12s?
I have no idea.
My Dallas Cowboys are here tomorrow night.
Oh.
Yes.
And what's the line?
And it was exactly 7 years ago that the Dallas Cowboys were on this very field when my quarterback, Tony Romo, went down in a preseason game in an injury, and Dak Prescott stepped onto the field and has not stepped off, save his injuries, has not stepped off since.
That's true. He's been the starter since then.
Yep.
And Tony went on to become a famous golfer.
And broadcaster.
Know that too.
He's making more as a broadcaster than he ever made as a quarterback.
That's fascinating.
That is just, it's funny how I talk to people about that all the time. Charles Barkley, same thing for inside the NBA TNT. Charles is making more as an analyst than he ever made as a player.
If Romo played today, he'd be a $40 million quarterback.
Yeah, he would. Troy, same as Troy. Now, Troy won 3 Super Bowls, but he's making more. His contract on ESPN's Monday Night Football, by which the Commodores are on this week. Everybody thought I would miss that. I'm well aware that the Commodores are on Monday Night Football this week against the Baltimore Ravens.
The Commies are playing against the Ravens?
Yes.
Now, Monday Night Football, where is that on ESPN?
Yes.
Is the rookie playing? No, it'd be his second year. I've forgotten his name.
Howell.
Sam
Howell.
Howell.
Yeah.
How do they look this year?
It's early. We'll see.
Is it still Del Rio and Rivera and now Eric Bieniemy?
Bieniemy.
Okay.
And everybody's singing Kumbaya from Bieniemy's Too Tough. So we'll see how that all works.
Well, honestly, it couldn't get worse. So I was always appreciative that the players somehow managed to press forward in the face of, it was just an untenable situation for the entire.
Well, I think, in that Kumbaya moment, I think a reality kind of bubbled to the surface. And I know we live in a world where people tend to ignore reality and facts. We talked about that yesterday. But if you look at the reality of their situation, and I'm outside looking in, used to be a fan, now I'm a Cowboy fan, obviously. They're in a the NFC East, which was ridiculed for years, is one of the now toughest divisions in football, with Philly, the Giants, and Dallas. So you got a big uphill climb if you're the Commanders, Commies, Commodores. I understand there's a petition to bring back Redskins, and I leave that history where it is history. I don't understand that at all. Move forward. Leave the past in the past, man.
I thought it was an overreaction, but you're right. Now that it's done, leave it be.
Why go back? I just don't understand that.
I understand it, but I agree with you.
Yeah, leave it where it is. Leave it where it is. Go forward. Get creative. I call them the
Commies now, so.
See, that was a bad choice. The Washington football team to me was perfect.
I liked it.
Yeah, a lot of people did. WFT.
Yeah, what fucked up?
Right. So, so we'll see how that all plays out. But they're on Monday Night Football with my other quarterback, Troy Aikman, who I love dearly. Um, Friday we tend to acknowledge third rails on Friday because we try and send our 4 or 5 viewers into the weekend on a positive, good note. But we acknowledge third rails. Now, sometimes we will touch them, sometimes we won't. We just acknowledge that they're there. I don't know how you classify this, but I'm going to touch on it nonetheless because I'm not shocked, but I am very disappointed.
About?
His lawyers have
Oh,
convinced
I'm
him.
disappointed too. I caught up to you. Okay.
His lawyers have convinced him, and we all knew who him is, the stable genius,
Trump.
to cancel his press conference on Monday. And
I'm very disappointed.
they're going to fold his irrefutable evidence, like Barack Obama's fake birth certificate, like the 11,800 votes, like everything else. Oh, the replacement for healthcare. They're going to fold that into his defense. So we'll see this irrefutable evidence when they go into court. Word on the street has it he will show for his arraignment on Wednesday of next week.
Now, this is in Georgia.
Yep. So we should have our mugshot by Wednesday afternoon.
Woo.
There has been a trending and a running. In fact, the Lincoln Project, who I'm sure you are familiar with,
Very fond, very fond.
very fond of them. They're running a contest in which I participated in to get a free Lincoln coffee mug, Lincoln Project coffee mug.
Oh, I like that.
And the contest is guess his weight. And if you're correct, you get a free coffee mug.
So you just have to be correct, and they'll hand out as many correct guesses as there are.
Yes. Would you like to know my guess?
253.
Not even close.
Yeah, what you guess?
373.
He's not that big.
Oh, please. Have you seen him?
I have seen him, but he's not that big.
373.
Well,
his midsection is 300 alone. The rest, spread it out.
one of the tricks there is that I assume he's fat.
You don't have to assume.
Doesn't weigh as much as muscle. So
you don't have to assume.
You can be big and not be as heavy as one might perceive.
You don't have to assume he is, and that's why my guess came in at 373. We'll see. We'll see if I win a coffee.
Is he 6'2"?
No. Maybe 6 feet, maybe. That was the other one, height, weight, but Lincoln Project's contest is based on weight. There are a couple of
Presumably his weight will be revealed after he's booked.
Yeah.
And in a mugshot, as I understand it, you're standing there with a placard in front of a height thingamajiggy.
And he has to take his wig off.
You made that up.
You think that hair is real?
I do.
No.
I do. I do think it's real because he is rolling in something called propecia, which is finasteride.
We're going to find out. So that all happens Wednesday.
I think that's real hair, man. I do.
I don't. That all happens Wednesday. I'm disappointed that we don't get to hear the irrefutable evidence.
I also am disappointed.
We you and I have had a couple of conversations on our podcast show. And let me say this. Let me start this way.
Okay.
I agree with you. If he is the Republican nomination, I think Joe Biden wins in a landslide, which is why you want him.
True.
I have steadily maintained to you they have no one else. And you
and I disagreed with you.
Yes, Christie, never be president. You've brought up a couple of different names, and one has bubbled up to the top today to validate what Marlon has consistently told you. JD, you're fucking crazy. They have no one else.
Okay.
And the name that bubbled up today, I'm going to butcher it, but it's because I could give two shits about him.
Vivek?
No, Ramaswamy or whatever.
Yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy. And I'm not doing that to be disrespectful. I agree.
I am. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He did an interview.
He would be
JD. This is where you
conservative.
JD, this is where you need to listen to me, man. He is a fucking idiot. And you just need to accept reality on some things. You can label that Marlon doing an ad hominem attack on him, but he's a fucking idiot.
Can I ask you a favor? Tell me a little bit about Vivek Ramaswamy.
He did an interview with Jim Acosta.
Okay, I want to understand.
In that interview, and I got to parse to my other screen here, so apologies for looking away from the camera. In that interview, he told Jim Acosta that he reiterated his position that he would allow Putin to keep parts of Ukraine, block Ukraine from joining NATO, and even visit Putin in Moscow.
That's a calculation.
That's ignorance. You can call it a calculation. You can call it whatever you want.
It's
and he summarized that by saying our goal should be for Putin not to lose.
So when did he say this?
That interview, I'm going to assume, took place yesterday. The video is making its rounds this morning, so Jim Acosta doesn't do morning shows, so I'm going to assume that was yesterday evening, yesterday afternoon.
Okay, so I fundamentally disagree with Vivek Ramaswamy on this point.
What a reach! What a reach!
Yeah, I really dislike
it. Man.
And I don't attribute it to ignorance. I attribute it to, what is it attributable to?
Ignorance.
Well, I'm trying to think of the political.
Those statements, that's where you're wrong. Those statements, flatline, are ignorant.
All right, so here's what I would have to conclude. This is what I would have to conclude from Vivek Ramaswamy's comments. He believes that the Russians materially altered the trajectory of the election in 2016.
Well, then why would you coddle to Putin?
You just explained it for me. That is why you would coddle to Putin.
If you believe that they interfered with our election, is your thought process
election, and that they materially diminished Hillary Clinton's chances of winning. So Vivek Ramaswamy is what we would call, just like you have pre-diabetes, he is a pre-trader.
So his motivation then is to coddle to Putin for Putin to help him be elected president?
Ding, you got it. That's the only possible calculation I can come up with apart. Let me finish my sentence and you'll appreciate it. That's the only possible calculation I can come up with apart from ignorance.
No, that calculation makes him ignorant. That premise,
unless he
that
wins.
notion, he's not going to win. That notion that you would coddle and support Putin because you think Putin's going to help you become elected president in the United
That's what Trump did. And Trump had compelling reasons to do it.
Okay,
Let's understand some of the timeline, because this is simple and straightforward. One of the most egregious acts that from Trump when he was running for president was when he stood at a podium and he said, Russia, if you're listening, the internet group, there's a name for it, which I've forgotten. They hit the Democratic.
Yeah, we all know the history. We all know the history.
Next day. No, they hit them within 24 hours.
We all know that. We all know the history.
So what that is a direct linkage between the candidate's behavior and Russian initiative,
which Mueller laid out.
I think Ramaswamy is attempting to run back that part of the playbook,
which makes him an idiot,
which makes him a traitor
and an idiot. He's not Donald. He's not.
I think he would argue I'm not an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot. He's an idiot.
No. Ramaswamy probably has a fairly high IQ and a decent education.
I'll stipulate that. So he's got a good IQ, has a decent education, but his actions, words, and thought process wipes all that out and makes him a fucking idiot. Here's why, and I'll give you the reasons why. A, he's not Donald Trump. B, we know this playbook. C, you're not going to be able to.
You just said it can't possibly be what you just said, which is you said, we know this playbook. And I say, I'm looking at the playbook and that's what it looks like to me.
But it's not going to work. We know it. We know it.
That's a separate issue, but I can see where he would do it. All right. So here's the challenge. Here's the challenge. And I want you to explain to me how I can work around this, because I am now making him a pre-trader.
And an idiot. And an idiot for doing it.
So he graduated summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. Let me finish on this one.
Go ahead.
Summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa from Harvard College. He then went to Yale Law School and graduated from there.
Okay.
How do you tag a person like that with ignorance? I have trouble tagging an individual like that with ignorance.
I don't.
I'm saying that
I don't.
He's sentient, he is calculating, and so he's making calculations. He's just making calculations.
I have zero trouble tagging someone with pedigree like that as ignorant. And here's why. Your actions and your words. I don't care. You call it calculation all you want. To take this position, to take those steps, to take those actions with your pedigree makes you fucking ignorant.
I don't think so. I think it makes him opinionated.
Well, I tell you what, let's see if he gets elected. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works.
He probably won't be elected because
Probably.
But he probably won't even be the nominee for the Republican Party.
No.
Well, they're separate issues. We're talking about
How are they
Vivek Ramaswamy, who is currently a partner at Madrona Venture Group.
You're making treasonous calculations.
Yes, I'm saying he's pre-treasonous. That is pre-treason. If he got into office
with that pedigree,
that would be treason.
So let me ask you a question.
So right now it's an opinion. So if he got into office and
let me ask you a question.
That would be treason.
Let me ask you a question. I would come nowhere near having the opportunity to have a pedigree like that. But let's say for a second.
Yeah, you'd have to go all the way back in time.
Whoa. Let's say for a second, Marlon did. He went to Harvard, went to Yale, graduated with all of those honors,
Summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa.
all of those honors, and then Marlon all of a sudden decides, you know what, I'm going to run for president. And then he goes, you know what, I would award Ukraine to Putin. I think we should protect Putin. I think we should deny Ukraine into NATO. You would be like, Marlon is really educated. What the fuck is wrong with him?
I would say Marlon is
Ignorant.
pre-treasonous.
And you would say Marlon, to flush all of what he's accomplished down the toilet for something so fucking stupid makes him ignorant. That is exactly what you would say to me. I would step to the podium and say, I'm a fucking idiot for doing this after I lost.
Probably is looking at polling data that tells
makes him even more ignorant.
If he's going from conservative environment to conservative environment, this is probably what he's hearing. He's hearing that the people will vote for him if he champions this, or that they will support him. Now, I happen to think that
what percentage of Americans do you think support Putin?
The ones
I know at the rallies that there were many wearing, because that's MAGA, at the rallies wearing T-shirts that say, I'd rather be Russian than Democrat. I get the MAGA crowd.
All right, you're getting into really good territory here, because if you go around the world, let's just do 3 places. In Spain, they elected essentially.
He's not running in Spain. He's running here. I said American.
Let me complete my thought. Conservative autocratic movements are doing increasingly well. Benjamin Netanyahu is back in play, making severe modifications to the legal system in its entirety to aid and abet his autocracy. So the idea that democracy, or Democrats, not, small d, democracy and representative government is favored by all, it's not favored by all. It's probably convenient to use about 38%, a statistically significant percentage of human beings in each of the civilized countries wants to go to an autocratic structure. And here are the benefits of an autocratic structure. You shut your borders, no more fucking immigrants, right? That's number one, is to get rid of the immigrants. So that's the primary desire, is to get rid of the immigrants. A lot of societies, there's a major percentage of them that does not want homogeneity. So the net result is that Vivek Ramaswamy is traveling around the United States, and everywhere he turns, every restaurant he walks into, every bus he rides, every private plane he takes, no matter where he goes, on his way up to the stage, on his way off the stage, talking to people afterward, listening to his posters, they're like, these people fucking love autocracy. They want an iron fist. And primarily, they want to crush any vestige of homogeneity. That's what they want. And that's where this woke crap comes from.
That's where this ignorance crap comes from.
I'm okay with you. Actually, when you apply ignorance broad brush, it's actually applicable in the sense that if you take statistically significant amounts of your energy and put them towards social issues, then by definition, you're diminishing your commitment, your energy, your focus on economic issues. In other words, things that will actually drive the economy. I will admit that if people can't ascertain that just leaving everybody alone and allowing everybody to succeed makes them ignorant, then yeah, there's an element of ignorance to that.
There's more to that. There's more.
That actually brings into play libtards, who are ignorant because they're not understanding that they keep isolating these groups and having them, and they're looking for special privileges for each group. I think Democrats would do a lot better if they said, listen, We're not going to start a sentence with LGBTQ or Black or Hispanic. We're just going to start a sentence with everybody benefits from, comma, fill in the blank.
That's not the reality. That's not reality.
Everybody
doesn't benefit. This is why we have
it doesn't benefit because it isn't even. But if you could get it even, it would be good.
Oh,
And
well,
you can start from
if
one
an
end to the other.
elephant
You can
could,
start where it's uneven and say this group is disenfranchised.
if an
On the
elephant
other
could
side, you can
fly,
say philosophically, we've already admitted that all men are created equal. You may not believe it in your heart, but I can tell you that from a mechanical standpoint, our economy and our society would function better if you would just pay attention to your own business and ignore all these other people. And of course, stop immigration. That is one of the things that people want. Now, if you look at different communities, Hispanics don't want a bunch of Blacks coming to their communities. Blacks don't want a bunch of Hispanics coming to their communities. This concept of isolation and some degree of homogeneity, even if it's only on a regional or a neighborhood basis, it's big, it's huge, and it's not exclusive to white people. It's apparent with white people because they're so adamant about it, but this is going on around the world. And a lot of people are flooding in from disenfranchised countries, like particularly in South Africa. So the issues that they're having in France now, a lot of those are the young people who have come from South Africa, and they're easily identifiable. They're not working, they can't get jobs, and they're people of color, and they're out at night trashing everything. It's a problem. And Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be able to say, I'm going to find the group that feels that way, and I know they're going to vote at a very high percentage rate, like probably over 70%. I'm going to pander to that group. Trump's doing it, right? Pence is doing it. Christie's doing it, although Christie has better numbers among Democrats than he does among Republicans, which is fascinating.
You done?
Yeah, you're very
everybody sitting in that car is fucking ignorant.
In that what?
In that car is ignorant.
The car
if that's your focus, stop immigration, get rid of them, throw them out the country. You are a fucking idiot. And here's the main reason you're a fucking idiot. I'm looking right in the camera and I'm calling you a fucking ignorant idiot. Not you, those who feel that way, like Slumdog Millionaire boy. You're a fucking idiot. And here's why. And all those that he is pandering to for support in that, you're also fucking predominantly white. You're also fucking ignorant. Because here's why. Who the fuck is going to pick your groceries? You? Who the fuck's going to serve your food? You? Who the fuck is going to take care of your kids? You? No. Immigrants are doing that work. Immigrants are doing that work. They're not going to do it. We've had our time in the fucking field. So no, we're not going to go out there and pick your fucking avocados.
You know, that's a compelling argument.
It's reality.
Yeah, but you made a compelling argument.
It's reality. It's not an argument. It's reality.
Compelling economic argument.
Who's going to
could be applied to people who are currently here?
Who's going to landscape your $1 million home? You? No.
My a person that I know.
I'm going to stop dropping F-bombs now. I get so.
What's wrong with the F-bomb?
I hear this. We got to shut it. We got to build a wall. We got to shut all the immigrants out. Who the fuck?
No, I'm saying that's the calculation that the conservative candidates are making.
Which is why they're failing.
Okay, let me invert it.
So why they are failing. Which is why they are failing.
Yeah, but they've got to start with their own group. They can't immediately fail their own group. Within their group, they're not failing.
And this is why they'll never grow.
Vivek Ramaswamy says, listen.
This is why they'll never grow.
We need to dethrone Putin. And I think the only way to do that is to have 3 times the number of immigrants we have. His support would go to zero instantly. He would be out. So within his group, to get the nomination, he is what they want.
He will never grow beyond 38%. Therefore,
I'm okay with that. I'm not arguing
will
that he will, but I'm
never-
saying in order of precedence, it's like you say, the most important thing for an NFL team to do is to win their division.
Right.
That's what's happening. So Vivek Ramaswamy and Pence and Christie, they got to win their division. They have to win the nomination. And to do that, they need to pander to their own kind. You know that. And it would be ignorant for them to not do that.
No.
I'm more comfortable with you saying the whole group is ignorant than to saying the individual is ignorant, because the individual is pursuing the group. So it'd be ignorant of him not.
They're both ignorant. But here's the thing. In order to achieve, you're right, win the division first, but that's all they're going to win. In order to get, in order to win the Super Bowl, I've got to grow beyond 38%. And I'm not going to grow beyond 38% with that shit.
I understand, but they really feel this way.
Then I'm glad. I'll take that statement that you just made at face value, and I'm damn glad to hear it, because they'll come nowhere near the White House.
They came close last time.
That was that. I'm not going to downplay the immigration aspect of that near success. I'm not going to downplay that. What I'll put more emphasis on is the embedded racism within the party, within the message, within the messenger that drove the results more so than immigration. They kind of go hand in hand. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. They're sending their worst. That's all racist. That's all racist shit.
Yep. I agree.
But deeper is the prejudices and racism homegrown here in America.
That's true. But the same way that you have an article and the article has a title, the title of the article that goes into the issues you just talked about, the title of that article is immigration. So if you want to communicate quickly, succinctly, you would say, I'm against immigration. Boom. You just checked a lot of boxes without actually having to go through the details. A lot of it's unspoken.
For 38%. For 38%.
Okay. And this is, no.
For 38%.
No, we talked yesterday at length, and as I recall, you were very emotional.
I'm always hard on the sleeve. Hard on the sleeve.
We were talking about the statistically significant single-digit percentage of independents who are silent.
Yes.
And I believe immigration is critically important to them. In fact, I believe to people who identify as independents, immigration is more important than abortion. And I think it's probably more important than guns.
I'll stipulate that argument, but the same logic applies to that single-digit percentage. Who the fuck is going to come landscape your $1 million home?
A person that I'm related to, God rest her soul, said this. If it wasn't for the Mexicans, I don't think I would have been able to survive around here, because she had a home, and she had all kinds of people coming in to help her.
Yes,
so she's exhibit A of where you could use that economic argument. The economic argument you made had some merit. It's like, listen, you're being stupid about immigration, because who's going to take care of you?
Who's going to pick you?
Fix your roof. Fix the drywall, right?
Fix
the refrigerator. And she's like, if it wasn't for Mexicans, I wouldn't be able to live here.
There's a vast percentage of white people who go, oh, fuck, I just need to follow Tom Brady. I'm going to start eating avocados. Who's going to pick those avocados?
Well, this is happening in Florida.
Who's going to make that guacamole?
But here's one thing I can tell you that they will also split hairs on. They would say, okay, for the ones that are here, but no new ones. So there's immigration and immigrants. They're two different things. So Vivek Ramaswamy is going to say, I'm shutting down the border. And then he could actually probably have a reasonable conversation about the dreamers, which is people who were born here.
He would not have a reasonable conversation about that.
He would buy sufficient political capital with his group if he said, I'm shutting down the border to Mexico. Nobody from South Africa is coming into here. We're only going to take people from, I think Vivek is Indian, so it would be from India. And India has actually come up the scale a little bit in terms of prejudice.
Yeah, they have.
They have. It's just a fact.
Well, I think they've always.
But this
I
person
think they've
I'm talking
always.
about, God rest her soul.
I think they've
It would
always
be
been
two
there.
different things. She would be okay with immigrants, but she would be anti-immigration.
Which makes her. I'm not going to say
It's
it.
immaterial.
I'm not going to
Doesn't
say
matter
it.
anymore.
I'm not going to say it.
And we don't know who I'm talking about.
No, we don't. And I don't want to know.
I don't want you to know.
It's again.
I just wanted to tell you that everything you just described, there are a lot of things that you talk about I've never seen. You're like, have you seen Black Knight? I'm like, no. But you just
Dark
went
Knight,
through a whole
Dark
thing
Knight,
where you
Dark
said,
Knight,
listen,
Dark Knight,
Dark Knight. I just proved your point. Well, but what you said was, you said, you know, you can make an economic argument to even white people that it's not going to be in their best economic interests to get rid of immigrants. And I've actually personally witnessed that.
Yes.
In my life.
Yes. Yes.
I've seen it. From
Yes.
my people.
Yes. And listen, I'm black, in case anybody didn't know. Yeah, I love the Cure, but I'm still black. I'm just turned last month 64 years old.
Sweet Jesus, you're old.
Yes. And what does that mean, Marlon? How's that relevant? It's relevant because I'm too fucking old and I don't have $1 million home. Not yet. Our values are going up, but it ain't there yet. And I don't think it'll reach that high, but I'm too fucking old to do certain things in my house. So I hire people to do certain things at my house. And one of those is a landscaping job once a year. Who the fuck do you think I hire?
I assume you hire young, white females between 16 and 18.
Exactly. They're chomping at the bit to come landscape Marlon's house.
I know.
Get the fuck out of here. Again,
all cheerleaders want to do.
Tom Brady's playing football until he's 45. Okay, what's his secret? Avocados. All right, I got to start eating avocados. How the fuck do you think you're going to get those avocados? Are you going to go over? You're going to go over to Tijuana and pick your own avocados? No, you're not.
You're going to drive down to Florida. I don't know where avocados come from. A lot of them are coming offshore now.
From Mexico.
Well, from Mexico and South America, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, some of my favorite wines are from Chile.
You know, darling. Let's go out and have a fancy dinner tonight. Okay, let's go to a fancy restaurant and have a fancy dinner. Who the fuck do you think is cooking that meal? Who the fuck do you think is bringing that meal to your table? I get just.
All right, so this all started with you calling Vivek Ramaswamy ignorant, and I push back a little bit, which is not an argument. It's just like a seesaw. We're always on this seesaw. And when I go up,
his words and actions are ignorant.
But then you actually kind of
his words and actions are ignorant. He himself has a high IQ. He himself has a.
His whole group is ignorant by your measure because they're doing things that are really. Not only do I not agree with them, but I don't think they're the best thing for humanity. I don't think it's good for humanity. I don't think keeping Putin in that role is good for humanity.
No, he's proven that it's not.
Well, not only has he proven that it's not, but if you look at the map of Ukraine, right now they occupy the Donbass, which is northeast, and then they have the Kherson region, and then they have Crimea. So what they've done successfully is from the Dnieper River east, at least on the bottom half,
Correct.
to isolate that part of the country. During the period that it's been isolated, nobody knows the numbers, but the speculation is that it's certainly tens of thousands, is possibly hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have been spirited away. Are they alive? We don't know. But one of the things that happens with this Russian occupation is that they take Russians and replace Ukrainians with Russians.
With Russians.
So Russian now would get a homestead with all the chickens, and they'd open the fridge, and it'd be whatever the Ukrainian family that has now vanished put in there. And then they would start their lives in what has already been declared as part of Russian territory. All of that territory is in the Russian Constitution as Russian territory. And it is chock-a-block now with Russian citizens. And there is no circumstance under which a person could argue, yeah, I think it's all right to take me and my kids and my dog and take us off and fucking shoot us. And then it's okay, which is what Vivek Ramaswamy is saying. He said, it's okay for them to bring other people to live in our house and continue their lives essentially where we left off. And then, yeah, it's okay for the larger nation that I used to be a part of to cede that territory now to these people, and they will continue their lives in my house. And you could actually go to a redneck and say, dude, are you okay with some Russian family coming here, taking over your trailer, and you're off in a shallow grave somewhere with your 14-year-old and your 8-year-old? Are you okay with that? Is that what you want? Because that's what Vivek Ramaswamy is suggesting. He's saying, let's give this fucker the territory. So from that standpoint, it's not that he's ignorant, it's that he's a pre-trader, and he's by definition, that is fucking evil. To show a lack of empathy for people who were born there, raised there, live there, are of that country, and to see them killed and replaced with Russians and then say, yeah, I like Russia. I think Russia's got a good plan here. I think we should support that.
To have that pedigree and take that position makes you ignorant.
An autocrat. That's what it makes you.
It also makes you ignorant.
Can get to positions of authority, would love to rule, and they would rule with an iron fist. If Vivek Ramaswamy becomes president, he will start a program very similar to the one that we had with Trump. All of these people are desperate to change how the United States works.
You and I just simply have different viewpoints and opinions on what makes a person ignorant.
Yes, I think it's possible for a person to be very smart and fucking evil. Let me give you an example of what a smart, let me give you an example of what I encountered just this morning.
And I'm going to counter that example because I'm ready to.
No, I'm going to show you something.
All right, I'm going to show you something too.
All right, so I live in a
to bolster my point about you can have a high IQ academically. You can surpass Marlon Taylor by miles, but here's what Marlon Taylor has that you don't have, surpassing me with that high IQ.
All right.
Common fucking sense.
All right, apply it to this situation, because this was obviously indicative of somebody with a high IQ.
I said I wasn't going to drop F-bombs anymore.
I can do it. I can do it in about 60 seconds.
Go.
I live in Fairfax County.
Yes.
Votes Democrat.
Yes.
Because it votes Democrat, it's predominantly blue. We can marshal more resources than Republicans.
Yeah, which is a change from what Virginia used to
I'm
be.
talking about Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia is about a fifth of the landmass of Virginia,
Yep.
but it is a bastion against all of the rural red counties. So if Virginia goes for Biden, we really have to perform at an exceedingly high level.
Yes.
So I went this morning to hand out information at
Good for you.
a back to school gathering.
Good for you.
We were at the front of the school where I have been and received material. Now I'm the person handing out the material. And
good for you.
Something happened, and you can see the hand of an intelligent person behind this. The principal came out and said, "We've been told that nobody can be on site."
Okay.
So for the first time in recorded history, on my maiden voyage, I wasn't allowed to stand where I've been going for decades to vote, and people handed me information. Now, it was unclear where that came from. It was unclear who initiated it, but what they did is they created enough of a concern with the principal that she came out and very nicely said, "Well, I can't have you on school property." And the truth of the matter is, we're not going to negotiate. We're not going to deliberate. We're not going to figure that out standing on, right in front of the apron, in front of the school with the principal. So we just said, "Understood. Thank you." And we had to leave the premises. There was a Republican, I'm sure, I'm guessing, some Republican somewhere said, "We can't put boots on the ground there, but here's what we can do. We can negate their effort, and we're going to do it using fear, uncertainty, and doubt." They have basically been putting fear out there that there will be a conflict, there'll be some type of argument, there'll be somebody shot, there'll be somebody in a fist fight.
I'm not
And
going.
his principal had no choice, but it was a brilliant move on the part of the opposition, because obviously they weren't putting anybody.
If in fact that's what happened, I'm going
That's
to.
true. I don't know that that's what happened, but I'm saying that whoever did that, I fucking disagree with them. I don't like what they did, but I'm not going to call them stupid. I'm going to say, well, as far as chess
No,
moves,
that's not
that was a decent chess move.
I wouldn't go to my toolkit for the I word on that one. What I would say though is this. I understand the school's position because of where we are today.
Exactly. It was created by a conservative.
Let me finish. Has nothing to do with politics. This is everything to do with school safety. So I can't, as a principal, allow people.
It was never unsafe before.
I know, but we live in a different world now.
Right. Courtesy of these fucking maggots.
I'm still not talking political. You know as well as I do, the odds of children being killed and shot in school have increased year over year over year over year. And so that has taken us to a place where we cannot allow people on school property that are not part of the school system, because we can't trust that we're not allowing people that would be a threat to our children and our teachers on school property. So the only way to reduce that threat is to allow no one on school property going forward in our world today. This is going to play out all in every school all across America because of Uvalde, because of Newtown, which was years ago, because we are allowing our children to be slaughtered in the schools. So I look at it more focused on that than I do Republicans trying to silence the opposition by not allowing them to do what they've been doing for decades. But there's merit to that position and belief that you have. I just think it's bigger picture. we can't allow anybody on school property anymore because of where we are in today's world with respect
That's what I
to
said to the
schools,
principal. I
to
understand.
respect to school safety. I want to pivot because I wish I had my better half here, because when I told her
Why?
about,
She doesn't want to be there.
I know she doesn't want to be a
My
part.
better
She
half
support,
doesn't want to
she
be here.
supports me. She's like, "Are you making money yet?" No, we're not packed McAfee yet. We're working on it. We're working on it.
So
But
you actually talked to her about it. I don't even talk to mine about it.
I want to pivot to this because she thought, when I shared this with her, she thought it was she immediately went, okay, yeah, I've heard Marlon say that he's leaving Twitter. And I believe, and I've known him and I've been with him for 21 years, I believe this is the bridge too far for him. And what I am referring to is our conversation yesterday. JD and I had a conversation about a pending change coming to Twitter, where in order to use Twitter, you're going to have to put your government issued ID on Twitter to use it. And that is the fucking red line in the sand for me. That has not changed. But I want to show you something. I want to show you something related to that topic and discussion yesterday. That tweet by Lisa Guerrero, Inside Edition investigative reporter, right there. And Bob Seska, and I can't remember what Bob's role is, but I'm with Bob. This is, come on, man. Come on, man. This goes back to what I said to you. You can have a high IQ. You can be a brilliant genius, stable or unstable, but to do and say the things that you do, Exhibit A makes you a fucking idiot.
No, you're
Yeah,
saying that Elon Musk is an idiot. Okay, I want to deal with this, but I want to come back on camera.
this is idiotic behavior.
All right, come back to me, man.
This is idiotic. So you read the tweet.
I did. I couldn't miss.
Block is going to be deleted as a feature.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm done. So whether or not you agree with whether Elon Musk that's a good move or not, I'm done with your platform. Go.
Can I say something?
Go.
I think you're right.
I almost fainted there. What? Repeat that?
Well, I think Elon Musk is smart. What I also think now is that Elon Musk does not have a sophisticated perception of
how social media works.
What's
women. So how social
I'm limiting it to women because this only applies to.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I'm recovering. I'm changing the only word. I'm changing the only word. It primarily applies to women.
No, not even primarily. How many maggots have I blocked on Twitter? How many ignorant, how many ignorant people have I blocked on Twitter?
As many as your arms can reach, like block, 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 block.
And so what is the purpose of
I had to block anybody because I've never been on there.
What is the purpose of taking that away?
The purpose is not healthy and it is not good.
It's idiotic.
I'm not going to go to idiotic. I'm going to go to evil. It's fucking evil.
That goes hand in hand to me, because the reason I use idiotic and the reason I use
people who are evil are idiots.
The reason I use
fucking idiots like Trump.
The reason I use idiotic and ignorant is because the goal, and now I'm going to go put on a different hat for this point.
Okay.
The goal, high level, of your platform should be usability. Usability. That's a word. Google that fucking word, kids.
I fundamentally disagree. That's not the highest goal.
Revenue is the highest goal, but
No. I just need to understand what you mean by usability. Does usability mean utility to the community
no.
or ease of use?
The goal of any platform, and I know this because I've been in the software industry like you forever, and I do a mountain of fucking surveys when I do stuff, and I interact with different platforms. I get the, hey, take this survey. Why did you use Xfinity? You came to Xfinity today, and you had an engagement. You did something on our platform. We'd like to survey you today. Why did you rate us so high? My answer almost consistently across the board is the same. I used your platform. I'm rating you high because it was easy to use. I was able to accomplish what the fuck I came there to accomplish in a very quick and simple fashion. That is the goal of the platform. When I sit down as a software coder, the code that I write has one goal: make the user experience work. And this is the opposite of that.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Willingly is the opposite of that, which makes you idiotic.
No, we're not in opposition. We're not in opposition. I just don't consider that the highest aspiration of.
If your platform, whatever it is not easy to use, is not user friendly, is not efficient.
That has nothing to do with this.
I'm not going to come to if your platform sucks, if your website sucks, guess what?
Nothing to do with this issue. There are two issues, Exton. We have two issues in play simultaneously, and I think in Musk's mind, he's conflating them. He's saying, I want people to identify as themselves when they tweet. That's one. The second is you can't block people. So I think in his mind, he is thinking that if people are obligated to be themselves, then it would modify their behavior and mitigate the need to block them. And this is actually part of an overarching theory that the only way to reach our destination is to become a truly global village where everything is transparent. We all know who each other is. So I understand his motivation and the thought process. Is it achievable? I can't tell you. There's been nothing anywhere that was created by man that has worked the way it was intended. There's not a single fucking thing. The only things that work properly are things invented by nature. Gravity, right? Dirt, water.
You're the numbers man. You're the numbers man. So do this.
Implementation. If you could get every single person interacting as themselves, then it would be less of a problem.
No, it wouldn't.
Taking away the block.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
But as long as somebody doesn't have to be themselves, you need to have the block.
No, it wouldn't. No,
is he saying he's going to take it away, or is he taking it away?
He's taking it away.
The block.
You're the numbers man. You are the numbers man. Go into your little fucking tool there. Tell me, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, what was the stock value of Twitter the day he bought it?
He didn't buy it to make money. He bought it to have control and to exert influence. He didn't buy it for the reason that you or I would buy it.
If people don't come to and use and evangelize your platform, you're not going to have fucking control.
Musk doesn't want all people. He doesn't want immigrants.
Then look, Twitter, X, whatever the fuck it is.
He is driving
then you and your 38% MAGAs can institute whatever fucking change you want to institute.
They're doing it.
Which is why Marlon is leaving.
Have you ever seen Starship Troopers?
Yeah, a long time ago.
It's where they go to a distant planet and it's overrun by bugs.
Okay.
Well, the thing about these bugs is that what they lack in sophistication, they make up for in quantity. There are just so many of them.
It's never going to grow beyond.
That's what Musk is doing. He's saying, I'm going to drive the people that I don't agree with, which is going to be mostly the libtards and the wokesters. I'm going to essentially drop the outer perimeter and let these bugs just crawl all over them, and they won't be able to stop them. So his motivations are not our motivations. They're fundamentally different. He clearly wants a paternalistic society like you would have in the Middle East or you would have in the Far East.
Then he can have it. I just won't be a
He's
part
going
of it.
to have it. He is actually slowly, consistently creating a situation.
Go back to Bob Seska's words. This is
I agree with you. I don't think I want to be on a site where I can't block somebody.
No. Okay.
I would support your decision. If you're like,
no.
You say I'm quitting Twitter because they make me verify myself, I'd be like, whatever. But if you say I'm quitting because I can't block some of these fucking maggots, I would be like, oh, I can understand that. Get the hell off that app.
All right, let me.
We agreed, by the way. It's important to remind each other that we.
It's not you are misrepresenting me. I don't not want to be on Twitter because I'm being asked to verify myself. I don't want to be on Twitter because I am not going to put my identity and the risk of having my identity stolen.
I would not want to broadcast my address. I know somebody can find my address. I know.
I don't want to broadcast my address. I don't want to broadcast my driver's license.
You don't.
I don't want to broadcast my birth date. I don't want to broadcast.
What you're representing is that an image or a representation of a private identification document would be visible on screen to 7 billion people. I don't know why you're making that representation. I don't believe that's a representation that's being made by Twitter.
Yes, it is.
No, they're saying they want to verify you. They're not saying we want you to post your.
In order to use my platform, you are going to have to submit to us your government.
Submit to us. That doesn't mean they're going to publish it.
Do you fucking trust them? Don't make me go to my toolkit.
They're asking you to publish your data on a worldwide stage to 7 billion people. I don't think that's what they're asking you to do. Now you can say I don't trust them.
They are asking me to submit that information to their platform and trust that they will take care of it. That makes you a fucking idiot. I trust my bank. I don't trust Elon Musk.
All right. Yeah, but if you look at what Elon's trying to do, in addition to establishing a paternalistic, autocratic society, he wants to build the everything app. And this is a precursor to that, because you're going to have.
He's going to fail miserably.
Listen,
he's going to fail miserably.
You authenticate to PayPal, you authenticate to your bank, you authenticate to a lot of different institutions.
Those are governed by institutions to protect me. Who the fuck is protecting?
PayPal and Twitter are synonymous. The minute Twitter says we're going to start handling money, they're synonymous.
No, they are not. PayPal is subject to federal regulations. Twitter is not. Okay. My bank is subject to federal regulations. Twitter is not.
Which goes to your statement that I completely agree with you on, which was, do you trust Twitter? And I said, fuck no, I don't trust Twitter.
No.
But I'm differentiating. No. You're saying that it would immediately go out to 7 billion people around the planet. And I'm saying, I don't think that's the case. And in order to reach some level of verification consistent with what I'm using PayPal as the example, then it would involve verification of the individual. So he wants to go there. He wants to have, I think it's Weibo chat.
Good luck. You
know what? It seems to me
I asked you a simple question.
If Musk got his wish tomorrow, he would have approximately 40 million completely verified users.
No, he wouldn't.
Nobody blocked.
No, he wouldn't.
And all the other people need to get off the fucking platform.
And 40 million will not be there in shares when that happens. I can
Who
guarantee you
fucking
that.
cares? He doesn't care. You don't seem to understand. He bought Twitter because he had the money. Now, I think Musk does he does bring one thing to this that I think is positive, and only one thing.
I don't see where he brings anything positive. So enlighten me.
Because he is a technocrat, because he is a technologist, because he wants to be perceived as the smartest fucking person in the room, I believe Elon Musk fucking hates bots. So I think that the previous regime, which was headed up by the guy who founded Twitter, I don't remember.
Jack, whatever.
Jack, right. I think he was like anti-bot. He didn't like them, but I think Musk probably fucking hates them.
I would argue that. I would argue that.
I think that is a component in his push to get verification.
I would argue that.
He could sympathize with Russia.
I would argue that.
But
I would argue that.
Like, you're not going to use my platform for free.
I would argue.
You fuckers are going to pay me, so you need to verify.
I would argue that. I would argue that. I would push back. I would staunchly push back on your opinion on that. And here's why.
And I would accept your pushback.
When Jack, what's his name, ran, I know. When Jack, what's his name, ran Twitter, I never, ever had the amount of, and I will label them porn bots, that I do under Elon Musk. This only started with
Jack Dorsey. I think he wants to get rid of those things. And he's going to be like, listen, porn bots, listen, political bots, you need to pay me.
The explosion of them came with Elon Musk, not with Jack Dorsey.
That's because the moderation went away.
All right, it's hard for me to stipulate that argument.
Well,
I did. This was not a problem.
We're in agreement. Philosophically, once again, we're in agreement.
Yes.
The discussion we're having is about motivations. So a lot of our discussions are around intellect and motivations. I consider them to be of high intellect, and their motivations are transparent. They're not my motivations. I don't agree with them. I think they're doing the wrong thing, and I think they can do a better job.
Ruining and driving people off your platform makes you idiotic. That bottom line.
Unless you want all these fucking libtards and bots off your platform.
I don't consider Bob Cesca a libtard. I'm looking at his Twitter bio right now.
Bots are free riders. He doesn't get any revenue from bots.
I'm looking at Bob Cesca's profile on Twitter. Power nerd, host of the Bob Cesca Show and Trek Politics, contributor to the Stephanie Miller Show and TME. I'm not sure what TME is. With John Fushalang, tweets equals opinion. So he's not a.
Can I be honest? I don't know what did you just? What was that? Screen share.
he is not a libtard.
Who's he?
The person who said this might be the last straw for me.
Oh, well, we're in complete agreement. There's been
Bob Cesca is not.
That you need to be able to block people.
Bob Cesca is not a libtard. Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. That's obviously his picture there.
That's Geddy Lee. I think that is
that is Geddy from Rush right there.
How'd you get onto the picture of
there Geddy? We go. Oh, because that was shit.
Haven't you ever used Twitter?
No. Here it is. This is what I was reading. He's out of DC too. And he's been on the platform since 2009.
I've been on there longer than he has.
Yes, you have, but you haven't done shit.
No, I think I'm in 2010. I'm not sure.
And this is a bridge too far. So you're kicking off someone who is well respected, obviously, in the social media realm. And he's saying what Marlon Taylor is saying. This is fucking-otic. And your goal.
And it's the last straw. Yeah,
Your goal when you sit down and design a website /platform is to increase usership.
Unless you're Elon Musk, you want to increase revenue.
Well, he's not increasing revenue by losing users.
He's going to increase revenue because he's going to make it part of X when X is
Okay, then we will revisit and see where Twitter's stock value is once these changes take place.
That's a fair statement. I predict that the stock value is going to go right past 40.
No,
40
you're
billion.
crazy. You're crazy.
I'm
You're
not
crazy. You're crazy. You're absolutely
I'm not crazy. And you know how I can prove I'm not crazy?
How?
He didn't make X separate and then bring Twitter into it. He changed Twitter into X, and the objective is to reclaim not only the market value, but to go right past it. So
He's not going to do it. I tell you what, we're on camera, we're recording, I'm about to take us out. I am putting, when these changes, government issued ID, removing the block feature, when those changes materialize, I've got 2 Vienna Inn chili dogs on the stock value plummeting versus going up. We just recorded that bet on camera. And for those who don't know, Vienna Inn chili dogs are some of the best chili dogs you can get in Northern Virginia. So I'm putting 2 Vienna Inn chili dogs on this, that the stock value continues to go down, which it is done since he acquired the platform. There you have it. Oh, thank God it's Friday.
All right, so he's not stating, he's making verification a paid service with the cost adjusted by country proportionate to purchasing power parity. So that would mean that if you're coming in from Niger,
right,
where there's only one scrub brush,
right,
you wouldn't have to pay as much.
right.
God, have you read about Niger? We are
we're
so lucky to be here in this first.
Well, shit, we're headed that way.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll keep.
We're headed that way. If we elect the emperor with no clothes, we're headed that way.
Okay, how does he propose to verify? Okay, so I asked a question and it told me this is what he intends to do, but it didn't say how. I'm asking now, how does he propose to verify?
Yeah, it's not going to tell you that.
All right, Elon Musk has not yet released any specific details on how he plans to verify Twitter accounts.
Government issued ID.
He does it.
It's already been reported. I don't give a shit what Chat GPT is saying. It's already been reported.
Chat GPT is useless in this case because its cutoff is in 2021. No, this is Bard. And
okay, Bard is useless in this case because it's already been reported that that's what he intends to do. We'll just see. We'll see. And we'll see what happens to the stock price with that and your ability to block people become reality on this platform. Like Bob Cessna, that's the last straw.
Bob Cessna saying the last straw is you can't block people, or is that what you just said?
That's what I just said.
Okay, forgive me. All right, so
guess what? We're past an hour.
God, it's because you talk all the time. You should be like me.
You should get that Marlon Taylor guy to shut the hell up.
Yeah, shut the hell up, man. I'm trying to block you.
You know what it is? You know what it is? I've got energy today because the heat has not. I had this conversation with somebody. I said, look, yes, I grew up in Washington, D.C. for 35 years. I grew up in the most extreme heat and humidity because that city is built on a swamp, as we all know. And I was acclimated to that environment. I've been in Seattle now almost 30 years. It'll be 30 years at the end of this year, 30 years next year. And so I have obviously acclimated to the Pacific Northwest, and I'm older. So yes, my better half for all week long is said to me, I'm concerned about you because you don't look good. And I'm like, this heat is sapping every bit of strength I have in my body. And she's not one, she does not believe in meteorologists here in the Pacific Northwest, mainly because of the rule that we have: wait 15 minutes or drive 15 miles and you're in completely different weather. But I said, honey, listen, the heat is going to subside Thursday night, and it did. And how do I know that? Because my air conditioning, I was able to turn it on, and it stayed on the entire night. We were able to bring the house down to a comfortable 64 degrees.
Did you say 64?
Yeah,
Who the fuck takes their house to 64?
I do.
You must live in a first world. 64? Are you out of your fucking mind?
No, that was at night to sleep. That was at night.
Okay, I'll cut you some slack on that one. We
During
set ours to 75.
No shit. You got to remember, I've got somebody who's going through menopause in my house. Sorry about that, Cameron. Sorry, honey. Sharing that. But she is. She would tell you.
I'm on the issue.
She would tell you that. During the day, if my air conditioning was working properly, I probably would set it somewhere between 67 and 69. At night, I take it down to 64 so we can sleep.
I will be honest, my wife is always asking me to turn it down.
Yes. Now, I grew up in a house where on the East Coast it's fucking 85 year round.
I love the heat. I really like the heat. I can't write code. I can't type when my forearm. Apart from that, the heat's fine. In other words, it's actually hard to do work when you're sweating
and I'm the opposite in the winter. So in the winter, the highest I probably set the house in the winter is 69. I just, I grew up sweating profusely every single day, all day of my life. And so now I'm at an age, and I'm an adult, where I want to be comfortable. So at night.
This is the best part of this podcast. Two old guys.
Right.
Yeah, I have trouble working.
Right.
We should probably.
Yeah, we should probably go. It's been a great week. We've had great conversations. Next week we have the mugshot coming. We have what I believe to be indictment number 5 coming out of Arizona. We want to keep our eye on that. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Indictment number 5 is coming. It should be fun. It should be fun. And I'll be in normal temperatures. I'm looking at my current temperature right now, 62 degrees. That is absolutely beautiful given what I've been through.
That is magnificent.
I love it. 61 is on my phone. I absolutely love that. So we're on, for the moment, Twitter. Mama named Twitter. I'm going to call him Twitter. Spoutable and First World Third Rails YouTube channel. No government issued ID required.
That's correct.
On that.
You want to be us.
We got lots more coming because, as we know, he's the gift that keeps on giving. As I take us out,
if he falls off the canvas, we can get to some other third rails like religion or race or marriage.
Well, we kind of touch on all of those as we go through.
I know, because he's fucking them all up. So
as I take us out, I'm going to give you credit. I know we're over. We hate when we go over, but I'm gonna give you credit. And this is hard for me to do. Not hard for me to give you credit. I always give you credit. But in this particular instance, this is hard for me to acknowledge and give credit. Chris Christie has said that if he doesn't show up to the debate next week, and we all know he's not, that he's a coward. I applaud Chris Christie for calling him out. I applaud that. As much as I hate that whale, I applaud him.
I will never call him a whale. That was an ad hominem.
And he deservedly so. Because I saw a video of him recently at a baseball game admonishing a fan. I don't know what the fan said to him, but he's a fucking whale. But I give him.
Okay, that's a third rail because I don't blame fat people. I blame corporations and the American food industry. And most of all, I blame Donald Rumsfeld. So if we
You
ever
have a
get around
choice.
to that, I'll tell
You
you
have
what
a
Donald
choice.
Rumsfeld's greatest travesty was not the Iraq War. It's what he did with sugar. Anyway, go ahead.
I agree with that, but you have a choice. Like smoking, you have a choice.
No, you don't have a choice.
Yes,
There's
you
a whole
do.
new subject, whole new
Yes,
subject.
you
No,
do.
no,
Yes, you do.
once you learn
You can
about
order McDonald's and fries, or you cannot order McDonald's and
that
fries.
is not true. It is just like drugs. And if you look at what it does to the brain, it behaves just like drugs. Cocaine, heroin, exactly the same.
We'll save that for a different argument. We're on, Mama name him Twitter. I'm gonna call him Twitter. We're on Spoutable. We're on YouTube channel, First Word, Third Rails. Been a great week, great discussions, a lot of fire from Lumenfield, home of the 12s. I can't wait till my Cowboys get in tomorrow. We're not playing anybody, but I still can't wait for them to get here. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy pizza night. I've got 2 Vienna Inn chili dogs on the Twitter stock price. Once these changes take effect, we will revisit that. Been a great week. Been a great week, my friend.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend.
You too.